Tell me why you here, what you came for. I'm here to represent him in his glory, make his name known. This is not a game though, it ain't never been a game show. Life is only starting when the grave close. Tell me why you here, what you came for. I'm here to represent him in his glory, make his name known. This is not a game though, it ain't never been a game show. Life is only starting when the grave close. Tell me why you here.
Back slapping the track of the black accurate rap track of these whack statues or whack Draculas. Live life like Lazarus. Cats ask for the address. Son of Messiah from Nazareth. Hall of Fame, no asterisk. Yeah, I'm a plaster with the master is activist. Kids, the passion is passionate, no pacifist. He's activist here. Bless him fully, he ruling truly. He guides with bruises given. He bodies from Satan's rages and bondage to cages. Now we're prophets, amazing grace from the Father. The ancient of days is raising the faithful who choosing to follow. I once was hollow, but I'm filled with the spirit of God. Willing to walk in the war, wielding the spirit
Tell me
is
why you
wrong.
here, what you came for. I'm here to represent him in his glory, make his name known. This is not a game though, it ain't never been a game show. Life is only starting when the grave close. Tell me why you here, what you came for. I'm here to represent him in his glory, make his name known. This is not a game though, it ain't never been a game show. Life is only starting when the grave close. Tell me why you here.
Gotta get that money, it's funny how we done come up. Gotta get that running and hustle before the sun up. Gotta find a reason for breathing, I'm seeking something to freedom. I really need it, but years I'm seeking none of it. He be seeking the sun, it's even the weekend among his greediest heathens. Become some deacons and speak of his coming. So which one in the game is the name you're calling? A dollar ain't the father, so tell me which one you follow. See, I've been in love with the game for one score, but I've come to the Father and I'm loving him much more. Focus my visioning, exquisite delivery, lifting up the risen Prince of Peace with no deficiencies. I was once an enemy, wickedness was my energy. Simply I was empty, a sinner, slave to the industry. Thank you for the ministry, always being a friend of me. Now I roll in victory, Holy Spirit done
Tell me why you
enemy.
here, what you came for. I'm here to represent him in his glory, make his name known. This is not a game though, it ain't never been a game show. Life is only starting when the grave close. Tell me why you here, what you came for. I'm here to represent him in his glory, make his name known. This is not a game though, it ain't never been a game show. Life is only starting when the grave close. Tell me why you here.
In the end zone, tenfold, never move. Whom I depend on's not known to ever lose. The king is on the throne, no time for interviews. Stepping in my zone, it's on, yeah, we been approved. Matter of fact, he gon' run the game now. The king came down to save the lane crowd. I'm sure he did it, don't ring the chains out. The whole earth bowed when he laid his grace out. Bringing the power, devour cowards of lost here. Keep it classic like Chad passing the bosses. And if the cross is depicting God's gift, giving his life then, my glory all his. And if the rose stone showed us that Christ rose, then I got something to trust in and live my life for. Ain't gonna play games no more. My chains been broke, his name so dope.
Okay, everybody,
We will put ourselves on the line.
that is my brother, Zach Minthouse. So make sure you go and follow him on YouTube and stuff. He's getting ready. I think he's working on a new record right now. He's coming out. But I just want to say this. I have not done one of these in a while because I've been banned everywhere. Everywhere. You name it, banned. I'm on a 30-day ban with Facebook because I actually posted a link to a serial killer that was active back in the day, like early 1900s, Albert Fish. And it's like, if you all want to watch a documentary on Amazon Prime, you need to watch this. I got banned to go live on Facebook for 30 days because I promoted what they called it, a violent individual. Oh, hey, Jason. Yeah, that's my brother. He's a Christian rapper. He's also getting ready to have a big position with Marathon. Yeah. He's done it for many, many years. He's opened up for Toby Mac and Kirk Franklin, if y'all know them. I'm proud of my brother. Yeah, he's a Christian rapper, and I love his music first and foremost. We play it all the time here at my house. My son loves it, but I don't get copyrighted when I use my brother's music. So that's my brother. So what I want to say, I played that song for a reason, because this is not a game anymore, y'all. I know that I am a Christian. I have gone through this for many, many years we're living in the last days. We're living in the last days. And I've heard it. And I'm sure other generations have heard it. But the rabbit holes I've gone down, and God has, with my background, I have a bachelor's and master's in Christian education, a minor in theology. I've read the Bible backwards and forwards. I can't even tell you how many times, but I will tell you this: in 2020 was my Great Awakening, and the Bible talks about the Great Awakening. And I started looking at the Bible from a different point of view rather than the cookie cutter. There's a difference between conviction and condemnation. So I don't want to condemn anybody right now. This is like, we're all going through this. Okay. We're all going through this. We're all together. But God opened a way for me to start reading the Bible from a point of view that is spiritual warfare, actually. Absolutely. Hey, Kenneth. Oh, awesome. Look him up. Yeah, I'll send you the links too, Jason. Spiritual warfare point of view. So I have gone through so many rabbit holes, and God has made a way and opened up some Bible scripture that I have known all my life, but never grasped it to the fullest. So one of the things before we start out here, because I will tell you this is no way, I'm just telling you, if you've taken the jab, that's your own thing. Like, that's your own conviction. That's what you feel like you needed to do. You needed to take that vaccine. Please don't think that this video or what I'm talking about tonight is a damnation to hell. Don't let the enemy make you think that. It's not. God is gracious and merciful. And the very first thing I want to put up, because I'll tell you this, my parents, now my brother and sister-in-law and their kids and myself and my son is definitely not taking the jab. All right. But, my parents did. They're baby boomers, both of them. But Hosea 4:6 says, this is the new international version. I usually like to use King James, but when I come up here, I use new international version. My people are destroyed from the lack of knowledge. Because you reject knowledge, I also reject you as my priest. Now this is, you got to know the background behind Hosea, but this, not just priest, but I find out over the last couple years, especially, like, people I've known for a very long time, and the things that I've researched myself, they totally reject the truth. Okay. It's truth and research. They really sit in front of mainstream news media and take that as the gospel. And it's not the gospel. They all lie to you. Every bit, Fox News, CNN, MSNBC, all of them lie to you. You have to do this yourself. And I have not watched mainstream. There might have been a couple things I've watched here and there, but it's not my go-to, definitely. And I definitely stopped watching it the second term of Obama. When Obama got his second term, so I'm watching it. So Hosea 4:6 says, my people are destroyed from the lack of knowledge because you have rejected knowledge. They reject a lot. You watch mainstream news media, also reject you as my priest because you have ignored the law of your God. I also will ignore your children. So that's a pretty in-depth declaration there with that. I don't believe that God will ignore your children. When you call upon his name, he's going to be there. So as long as you stay in this realm of ignoring what's out there, like my mother, I'll just tell you this, she doesn't want to know. She doesn't want to know. Like she asks me questions and then I start answering her and then she doesn't want to know. Okay. So believe me, some of this stuff is shocking too. And if I wasn't in the paranormal field, or the spiritual field, I should say, spiritual warfare field, it's a lot to take in. So Hosea 4:6 says this, my people are destroyed from lack of knowledge. So I wish this was a more fruitful and upbeat message this evening, but it's not. And if you have taken the jab, please know that I'm not judging you. Nobody's judging you. You did what was right, and there's always a way out. But I want to produce or show tonight what I have found that's gone in a lot more detail in the jabs. I don't know how I say it. I'm trying to be protective when I hesitate there because YouTube will ban you over some of these things. So, you know, there's all this controversy about it anyway. It's a testing vaccine that has not been FDA approved. And we know who runs this vaccine, who owns this vaccine. It's Gates, which is funny because luciferase and stuff's getting ready to come in here. 666 is getting ready to come in here. And then you have a gentleman, I will say gentleman being graciously, that last name is Gates, like Gateway, Gates. So I'm going to play a couple videos really quickly here on luciferase. And this is the truth. And this is what's happening. I tried to put it all together. It wouldn't let me put it all together. It's two videos, I think roughly a little over a minute each. So let me play these so you can get an understanding of what's going on.
In Moderna, one of the ways that they could apply this would be a proposal would be going to use a bandage called a microneedle platform. So microneedle platform would be a bandage that you could get in the mail, like Amazon or UPS. It's a bandage you would apply on your hand here, and then you take the sticker off, and then voila, you have a vaccine. You do it yourself. So how are they doing this? The bandage has tiny little microneedles on it, and it's designed after a snake fang or a viper fang. So it's like a bite from a snake, but many of them. And they say you really won't feel it, but it goes into your skin, and the little tiny microneedles will be injected. So what's in a microneedle? It'll be either the DNA or the RNA vaccine. Number 2, it'll be something called luciferase. Important to know, they patented an enzyme called luciferase, okay? So this is called luciferase, they claim, because it gives a bioluminescence, a light, okay? And it's not something you can see or feel, but if you have a special device like a smartphone app with a special application, you can scan over it and it will light up. It will show a pattern, a digital code, a barcode, a tattoo. We're going to be branded. Each person will have their own ID. You know, this reminds me of World War II. You know, it's something to think about, being branded like a product in the store. So that will be in there, and that will hold proof that you're being vaccinated. They want to make sure that you're scanned and that you've gotten the vaccine. So we'll be branded. What could that be used for? Well, there's lots of technologies out there, but it's something that we need to be concerned about.
Definitely something we need to be concerned about, because now with this luciferase, I'm going to show you, it's in the vaccine. It's in the COVID vaccines. And I'm going to show you the patent number here in a moment too. But there's been all these different like people talking about all these black lights that are showing in these street lights and lamps. Hey, Stephen. Okay, sorry. I'm seeing some comments now playing off the idea of bringer of light because it's all being controlled. Well, it's the mark of the beast, in my opinion, with this latter days, and how I have a video up. I don't know if it's still up on YouTube or not. I might need to do another one. I know it was taken down on Facebook because the president talking about Trump, the Pope, and the false prophet, the 7-year tribulation period. I'll need to probably do that again. But we are in the 7-year tribulation period. That's, in my opinion, that's a fact. Nobody's ever going to steer me. And I'm an open book and I'm an open person. So when I say nobody's going to steer me different, like, I'm pretty grounded in it. So this luciferase, which Lucifer means illuminate. And we all know that whatever God puts forth, there is a counterfeit of that, okay? Like, we're getting ready to have the Antichrist, the false prophet, and all that kind of stuff. So there's always a counterfeit of God. And so Satan or Lucifer comes in and he's an angel of light. So there's all these other lights that's been popping up in Google this. I hate to say Google, DuckDuckGo it. Don't Google it anymore. DuckDuckGo it. And then just, or even if you're local and you find, this is how deep I've gone. Like anything that happens, I go straight to the source locally. Like I go to the companies and the networks and things, and I talk to them there in the office. So they're putting all these black lights, black lamps into these street lights, and that will illuminate an individual that has the vaccine. That's a fact. So if you have the vaccine, I've asked my parents to do it. They haven't done it yet. Take a black light. I think it takes a little bit for that to go in effect, but take a light to it, a black lamp to it, be in a total darkness. And I think it's like up to 6 months or something. Then you should start seeing your arms and your veins illuminate. God is also light. So Lucifer is presenting himself as light. And this is a way that they're going to see who's been vaccinated or not. And this is why all these lights are coming into these street lamps. So really quickly, what I want to talk about scripture was Revelations 13:17, because everybody's looking for the mark of the beast, the 666 number. But what people fail to say or fail to think about, okay, is in Revelations 13:17, it says, and that no man might buy or sell. Okay, this is a way we're going to buy and sell, travel. You're seeing this now. You're seeing this go over the world in the United States and everything now. Save buy or sell, save he that had the mark or the name of the beast. Okay, it doesn't have to be just the number, but this goes even deeper than this. I'll tell you in a second. Or the name of the beast. Well, what's the name of the beast? It's Lucifer. That's the beast. What's in the vaccine? It's luciferase. Now, if you Google that, I guarantee if you Google it, fact check, it'll say no, it doesn't exist, but it does. So you need to go to DuckDuckGo. I don't know. I'm just telling you what Google, because I know Google's so long. Go to DuckDuckGo and look it up. And I'm going to show you some documentation here anyway, so you might not have to look it up. But it has the mark of the beast, has the name of the beast in it or the number it represents. Okay, so luciferase, we know the beast is Lucifer. So how much more can you get with that? And luciferase was never used on humans. It's been used on animals. So this is a testing period. Everybody's being guinea pigs, and we're going to see how luciferase acts. So who owns luciferase? It's Bill Gates. And let's see here if I can share this page real quick. I'll read some things. Like, please wake up, everybody. Please. Like, we all need to come together. Like, they want to separate us so much. I don't care if you believe in Jesus at this point. Yeah, I do care. Obviously, I do. I'm a child of God, and I want you to know Jesus just like I do. But this is a new world order. And it's communism and socialism. And I am telling you, I'll probably get banned. This video will probably be, so please try to record this if you want to or not. But we need to come together on this. If you love Jesus, if you don't love Jesus, I hope you do love Jesus one day. He changed my life. I'll tell you that. And it's real and it's truthful. But this is the last days, and I can't sit quiet. I just really can't sit quiet at home. So hold on here. Let me see. That's not the one I want to share. I want to share this one. That's not bringing that up. Hold on. I don't know how to do this yet with the multiple screen shares. Here it is. What is luciferase? Okay. This was put out January 11th of 2021, which I didn't know what luciferase was until about a month ago. So one of the ingredients in COVID-19 vaccine is something called luciferase. Yes, this sounds like something from the old Hal Lindsey Rapture book. That does, if you know who Hal Lindsey is. I read some of his books back in Bible college. Dr. Carrie Medege, I guess, Yes, she's a real medical doctor. In the clear and understandable English, describes the function of luciferase and other parts of the Moderna vaccine. Let me share this way. Let's see what she has to say. I haven't watched this video, actually.
So what do you think about going from human 1.0 to human 2.0? And what does that mean? Well, going from humans, as we now know ourselves, to human 2.0 has something to do with transhumanism. If you're not familiar with that term, it's about taking humans, as we know ourselves, and melding with artificial intelligence. Kind of like being in the Matrix, if you've ever seen that movie. And that may seem kind of cool to you. We might have some superhuman abilities, maybe be able to think of something and it happens, maybe have some physical abilities that would be almost superhuman-like. That's the idea. That's what you see in sci-fi movies. And for myself, thinking about this topic, I'm like, well, I have some time. I think that's many years in the future. However, this question, this idea is now right in this moment. We need to make a decision. And I found out that we need to make a decision about this because I investigated the proposed COVID-19 vaccine. And this is my alarm call to the world. I looked at the pros and cons and it frightens me. And I want you to know about this. You need to be very well informed because this new vaccine is not like your normal flu vaccine. This is something very different. This is something brand new. This is something completely experimental on the human race. And it's not just about being a different vaccine. There are technologies that are being introduced with this vaccine that can change the way we live, who we are, and what we are, and very quickly. I think that, some people that you might know these names, Elon Musk, who is the founder of SpaceX and Tesla Automotive, as well as Ray Kurzweil, who is one of the bigwigs of Google. These are self-proclaimed transhumanists. They believe that we should go to human 2.0, and they are very big proponents of this. There's a lot of other people that you might know their names. They're also involved with this, so you should look that up. I think the easiest way to explain this to you is to go with one of the front runners for the vaccine and go into a little bit of the history and tell you how they want to make the vaccine. And I think that will speak volumes. So for instance, Moderna is one of the front runners for the COVID-19 vaccine. You should know that Moderna was founded by a person from Harvard, Derek Rossi, and this researcher actually was successful in taking some modified RNA and being able to reprogram a stem cell in the body and change the function of the stem cell. He actually made it genetically modified, okay? So he proved that you can genetically modify something by using modified RNA. So they founded the company Moderna on this concept. It's kind of a new kid on the block, okay? It's not been around that long. In fact, it hasn't even made any vaccine for a human before. It's made no medicine for a human before. This will be their first run. You must know that Moderna was in the news recently because it really fast-tracked. It's like the other companies, it's fast-tracking the vaccine. It's going from phase 1 to phase 2 very, very quickly. In fact, it's gone from phase 1 to phase 3 in its experiments from March of this year until currently. I mean, that is unbelievable. It usually takes 5 or 6 years. How are they able to do this with the safety and efficacy data that we need? And I want you to know that in phase 2, they're only using between 30 and 45 humans. In Moderna's test study, they only used 45 humans. And with the high dose vaccine group, they got 100% of those people got systemic side effects, 100. That's only in the short side effect profile. In the low dose vaccine, 80% got systemic side effects. Now, we don't even know the long-term side effects from that. We would need a lot longer time, right? Maybe years. But we do know, based on previous animal studies of using this technology, that you can expect possibly increased cancer rates, increased mutant genes, mutagenesis, also increased autoimmune reactions. For instance, in some of the ferret studies, they saw that when the ferret was introduced to the virus that they were trying to protect the ferret from after the ferret got the vaccine, they actually had an exaggerated immune response. It actually hurt the ferret. They had more lung inflammation, more lung fluid, even some problems with their liver. It actually hurt them. They had a poorer response. Okay, so those are longer term reactions, and that could be seen with this vaccine, but we don't know the data yet. So it's not without risk. And how are they doing this? Well, they're actually suggesting to use a platform. Let me just explain how they would administer the vaccine. So the vaccine, there's an idea called microneedle platform, okay? This was developed by MIT. And they said it could be very easily produced, okay, and mass produced. This is why they're proposing this technology, and many millions of vaccines could be made quickly. They could also be administered by yourself. So the idea is to get a Band-Aid. It looks like a Band-Aid you buy in the drugstore. It's shipped to you through Amazon or UPS or some other shipping service. You take it out of the package, you put it on your hand like this, and then you take the sticker off, and voila, you've been vaccinated. So how is that possible? Well, in this Band-Aid, it has little tiny spicules, little tiny needles. And this was designed after a snake viper fang bite, okay, or snake viper fangs. So little snake bites. Anyway, in these tiny little spicules, they claim you won't really feel it that much. There's their little hydrogel. It's a material called hydrogel. Inside the hydrogel would be a luciferase enzyme, as well as the vaccine itself. Okay, so what is all that? So first of all, you're getting the vaccine. It's modified RNA or modified DNA. Let's take Moderna, modified RNA. So in that modified RNA, the idea is that the microneedles will puncture into your cell membrane, okay? And this synthetic piece of an RNA, it's a code for the part of the virus, where they could use a synthetic DNA. It's a code for the part of the virus, would go into your nucleus. Your body would start transcribing it, would start reading it and making more of that part of the virus. Well, why would we want to make more of the virus or part of the virus? The idea is your body would get used to seeing it, would know how to make antibodies, and would have an improved T-cell response. And the idea is then when you saw it in the future, your body would already know how to fight it, and it would be a better response. That's the idea. The problem with that is they're using a process called transfection. And transfection is a way that we make genetically modified organisms. Okay, I think you know about those fruits and vegetables. They're not as healthy as the normal wild type fruit and vegetables. So possibly you could extrapolate that to a human. If we become genetically modified, we would not be as healthy, okay? We don't have long-term studies on this anyway. This is unbelievable. And, you know, the vaccine manufacturers have made the statement, this will not alter our DNA, our genome. I say that is not true. Because if we use this process to make a genetically modified organism, why would it not do the same thing to a human? I don't know why they're saying that. Now, if you look at the definition of transfection, it'll tell you that it can be a temporary change in the cell. And I think that's what the vaccine manufacturers are banking on. It's temporary, or it's a possibility for it to become stable, to be taken up into the genome, and so stable that it will start replicating when the genome replicates, meaning it is now a permanent part of your genome. That's a chance that we're taking. So it could be temporary or it could be permanent. And we would never know that for years down the road, honestly. So here we go. We've got something that can alter our genome. It's a possibility. And another thing on that, if they're altering the genome, what would be the effects? I told you previously some of the side effects, but also we need to know that this is a synthetic piece of DNA or RNA. okay? And if it becomes taken up into the genome of a human, it's synthetic. It's not from nature. And if you look at the Supreme Court justice ruling on synthetic DNA or genes, it can be patented, and patents have owners. So what does that mean for us? What if this gets into our genome? Does that mean Moderna or the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation or the Department of Defense, all of these people who are involved in the patents, or are they somehow going to own part of our genome? It's a possibility. You need to know that. So that's one part of this delivery system, just one. Now let me go to the next. The next part of the delivery system is a luciferase enzyme. Okay, they named it, they patented it luciferase. I don't like that name. Luciferase because it has bioluminescent qualities, which means it can produce a light, or it has a light source. And all of this would be under your skin and you cannot see it. Now, the luciferase is an idea because they want to make sure that you're vaccinated. They don't trust medical records. They don't trust you saying that you got vaccinated. They want to make sure, and they want to make sure it was successful, a successful transfection, a successful gene modification. So when you get the luciferase enzyme, if you have an iPhone or a special app on the iPhone, you can scan over that area and it will give a digital code, a digital imprint, a digital pattern, something that will identify that you were vaccinated. It holds your vaccination record. It also gives you an ID, a number, a barcode, a branding, whatever you want to call it, a tattoo. It's all the same thing. You now become like a product. So we have that. Now, the third thing I mentioned was hydrogel. So hydrogel is actually an invention from DARPA, the Department of Advanced Research Projects Agency. This is kind of a sci-fi kind of a group from the Department of Defense, Pentagon of the US government. They make these fantastic inventions. So one of them is hydrogel. Hydrogel, you can YouTube, look on YouTube, look at Profusa is one of the companies, DARPA, as well as hydrogel, and you'll find some little 2-minute clips that they describe. So hydrogel is nanotechnology, microscopic little robots. And these little robots, actually, I know it sounds crazy. It's still crazy to me, but it's possible, okay? They can disassemble, reassemble, assemble into and make different things. So with this hydrogel, it's really nanotechnology. So that's something, robotic or something that's artificial intelligence. It has the ability to connect with artificial intelligence. So this means that a human can now connect to directly and gather information from our bodies and gather it and connect with your smartphone, with the cloud, with some other smart device. And once this is done, this is 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Think about that. Think about how immediately that could change our privacy. Immediately can change our autonomy, immediately change our freedoms. This can gather data like your blood sugar, your oxygen, your blood pressure. Okay, those sound great. But it also can gather many other things. It can gather, they say, your emotions or your menstrual cycle, your activity, if you've fallen, your nutrients in your body. If you took medicines, it's a potential to see if you took illicit drugs. It's got a potential to see almost anything that goes on in your body. And all of this information is going where? That has not been addressed. Who's protecting this information? What are they using it for? This is really serious stuff, guys. This is all being proposed or being unveiled in the next vaccine, okay? The other thing to know is with this nanotechnology, hydrogel, artificial intelligence, hookup, just like your cell phone, you can send a text message, you can send an email, but also you can receive them back. So that means we could receive information. What information would be coming back into us? Would it affect our mood, our behavior? Would it affect, how we think or our memories? if you haven't watched the movie Matrix, I think you should. I think there's some truth in that, in that movie. I see so many wrong things with this vaccine. And I see that we are not talking about it in the major media. And I see that, I feel that these companies are outright lying to us when they say they cannot affect our DNA. Because by all definitions that they are using, this can affect our DNA. So guys, I wanted to make this video short because I wanted to get the point across. I wanted you to really do your own research. So know that there are many risks that we're seeing here, and there is some, we really need to know if we really want to go from human 1.0 to human 2.0. And let me also tell you that there's some major names behind these vaccines. You're always going to see like the Department of Defense from the US government, sometimes DARPA, like I told you. Why is the military involved with our vaccines? You see the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation everywhere with this. If you look, you'll find that name almost always. And let's go back to the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. I want you to look up let's look at the track record. Let's look at what the man stands for. His family comes from a family of eugenics. What does eugenics mean? Population control, meaning there's too many people on the planet. It's important to know. He's been on video stating that he thinks with a very good new vaccine, we could get the Earth's population to be decreased by 10 to 15%. Well, who's going to stay and who's going to go? And who is he to decide? He doesn't have a medical background, no epidemiology background, no science background. He's not a doctor, software tech. That's what he has. I'd also like you to realize, I always look at who has a vested interest. What are their motivations? What is his motivation, right? We already know his family background. Well, what's very concerning to me is that DARPA, this military agency, as well as the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, is very interested in something called gene drive research or technology, or gene extinction technology. And it's exactly what it sounds like. By using genetic mutations, by use of transfection, for instance, you can exterminate an entire species from the planet. They are proposing to use this for mosquitoes, for instance, in Africa. But guys, our world is a delicate ecosystem. Who is saying one species goes? You destroy one species, you could affect an entire ecosystem. So when you exterminate an entire species, you will affect an entire ecosystem. It's a very delicate balance. And who's to say who's going to stay and who's going to go? Who's got that knowledge? Why aren't we talking about this? And guys, if we can do it to an insect, we can do it to an animal, we can do it to a human. I bring this up because if these agencies that are behind the vaccine also stand for that, do you trust them with your health? Do you trust them with your family? Do you trust them with our children? The other thing is we're rushing this to production. What is the motivation behind that? We need to really think about this. I've also stated in the past that we need to know that there are, at least in the United States, there are mandates passed that make the vaccine manufacturers have no liability, zero liability for any harm done to any human. If people are killed, if they're hurt, if they're paralyzed, if they're maimed for life, it doesn't matter. You have no recourse and they still make all their profit. So there's no incentive for them to make it safe anyway. Also want you to know that one of the mandates, the Emergency Preparedness Act, that says they can force a vaccine on us. They cannot force a vaccine if there is a viable treatment for the COVID-19. And I want you to know that doctors around the world are being censored about treatment options for COVID-19 or prevention for COVID-19. Because if there's a true treatment or prevention, then they can't force this vaccine on us. I want to bring that up because what in the world is the motivation of doing this? Is it really in the health of all of us? As a doctor, I can't see how this is in the true health of the entire world. I think there's another motive, another agenda going on. The more I look at this, the more that comes up. So I'll leave you with this. I want to make this short and sweet so that you can digest this and think about it. Do you really want to go to human 2.0? I don't think it's the fantasy you see in the movies. We need to come together and we need to unify our voices because people in positions of power taking care of our health are not in our best interest. But together we have power. Together, united, our voice is strong. So I encourage you to do critical thinking, do your own research, join groups in your state, go to your state legislature, and you tell them no to these experiments on humans, no to invasion of privacy, no to censorship. We are sovereign human souls and we need to take our rights back. Thank you for listening. And you know, I always say my videos with the greatest of love and the greatest of peace. Thank you.
Sorry, y'all. I removed myself. I want to remove her. That's the first time I listened to that whole video in full, honestly. So, she has a lot of viewpoints, but we're going to go a little bit deeper. Like you have to, like where she ended, I want to pick up. You have to do your own research. You cannot, I'm telling you, even your primary doctors, they're all under the establishment. They are. Lawyers, judges, all of them, they sign under the corporation of the United States. I do believe that everybody starts out in that field as being a person that's going to fight for people's rights and fight for what's right no matter what. But they get intertwined with the establishment and the corporation, and they push the agenda. That's why we have the rhinos and all that kind of stuff going on. And I think that a lot of these rhinos, not the well-known rhinos, the ones that are underlining, maybe even bribed or threatened for certain voting. Oh, Jason found it. And Steve says, great info. Yes. I never watched her video. So that was really great for me too. In that way. I am wanting to, hold on. Where is it here? I'm looking at this. Oh, it didn't pull up. I'm going to have to look it up here in a second. I don't know if I have another video I can show. Actually, I will. I'm going to show another video. This is the video that I showed in the beginning. There's 2 1 minute, because this is going to pull up another video, because Thomas Massey from flipping Kentucky. Come on, I'm Kentucky. Thomas Massey, I love you so much. If he sees this, I don't know if he'll ever see this. He's a genius. He's amazing. I wish he was our governor. Our governor sucks. Beshear, and he's Democratic. Before that, Governor Bevin, he's Republican. He was terrible too. So we've had some terrible governors in the state of Kentucky. Thomas Massey is amazing. But what I'm going to do, since we ended on this doctor talking about all these things that's happened. If you haven't watched it, please play back. Please share this out while you can, because I get banned all the time. I'm going to play 2 1 minute videos here about luciferase, and then we'll go in to some other topics, especially the patent. Wait till you hit the patent. I'm going to bring up Revelations 9 or 13, 17 and 9:15 too. Wait, it's all coming to pass, you all. If you don't know who Jesus is, if you don't know anything about the Bible or anything, you want to know and want to have a personal relationship with Jesus, please message me. We will pray tonight over this, because it's not messing around. I'm sorry. People have rejected Jesus for a very long time, and it's all coming to pass. I've rejected Jesus in a lot of stuff I've done in life, but I've always found my way back. I'm the prodigal child, maybe. I don't know. But it's real and it's happening. And I can't keep my mouth shut over it. I just can't. It's my duty. It's what I feel called to do. So let's play some 2 1 minute, little over 1 minute each video, and then we'll go into the patent in a little bit. And hopefully I can pull up Thomas Massie here in Kentucky.
In Moderna, one of the ways that they could apply this would be a proposal would be going to use a bandage called a microneedle platform. So microneedle platform would be a bandage that you could get in the mail, like Amazon or UPS. It's a bandage you would apply on your hand here, and then you take the sticker off, and then voila, you have a vaccine. You do it yourself. So how are they doing this? The bandage has tiny little microneedles on it, and it's designed after a snake fang or a viper fang. So it's like a bite from a snake, but many of them. And they say you really won't feel it, but it goes into your skin, and the little tiny microneedles will be injected. So what's in a microneedle? It'll be either the DNA or the RNA vaccine. Number 2, it'll be something called luciferase. Important to know, they patented an enzyme called luciferase, okay? So this is called luciferase, they claim, because it gives a bioluminescence, a light, okay? And it's not something you can see or feel, but if you have a special device like a smartphone app with a special application, you can scan over it and it will light up. It'll show a pattern, a digital code, a barcode, a tattoo. We're going to be branded. Each person will have their own ID. You know, this reminds me of World War II. You know, it's something to think about, being branded like a product in the store. So that will be in there, and that will hold proof that you're being vaccinated. They want to make sure that you're scanned and that you've gotten the vaccine. So we'll be branded. What could that be used for? Well, there's lots of technologies out there, but it's something that we need to be concerned about.
I don't know if you all heard Thomas Massie there at the end. I love him very much. He's a Kentucky representative. So yay. Awesome. You got to read the data, and you got to do this yourself. And I will never take this vaccine. I'll just tell you this. I've worked 13 years in the healthcare field. I'm not a nurse, but I worked in very high tense situations. I was in the ER, urgent care, and I was a scribe for the Code Blue team. I will never do it. I will never do it. So we have Mr. Thomas Massie talking about it in Kentucky, that, you know, you need to read the data, all this stuff. This is a fear factor that the government, in my opinion, has put on these people, because fear, and you take each little name, is false evidence appearing real. Okay. And I have had family pass away at the time from COVID, but now I'm sitting and thinking about, what's their underlying elements? Was this just the flu? Was it the flu? Like, I don't know. I will not take the vaccine over my dead body. Well, I take the vaccine. I'm a patriot. This is your medical freedom to choose. I don't oppose all vaccines. I don't. I just oppose this one. My son will not, over my dead body, have that vaccine too. And my son is a high risk child and asthma. And that's just when my testimony myself. I've just researched so much on this. So what does the Bible say, right? So the Bible says, which I shared a little bit a moment ago in Revelation 13:17, is that the mark of the beast will have the name of the beast and the number. And I don't know what's happened over the years. Everybody wants to look at 666. 666 is the mark, but it's the name, Luciferase, which we just went through over the last 30 minutes, 40 minutes maybe. So I'm not going to talk about Luciferase anymore. What I want to talk about is that I started seeing some things on TikTok that Luciferase had a patent number of 060606. I was like, whatever. Like, I still laugh at this. Like, this is like, it's in plain sight, y'all. But I laughed at it. Like, I did not know that this, I was like, whatever, this is made up. So no, yo, on the jab. I'm glad. Yeah, we're all patriots here. So here's so I'll go through another flipping rabbit hole. Okay. It's 060606. I can't lie about it. I won't lie about it. But there's also a HR number 66666 that's involved. Like, they're putting this all up. I'm trying to share the screen here. Freedom articles here. By the way, I just want to tell everybody that uses, I've seen a lot of this on TikTok. They go to these articles and they don't ever have a publish by or a date or by a name. If there is no name there, if there is no date there like this, yeah, it's probably fake news too. So please stop using those articles and using it as gospel. I always check to make sure that there's an author name there and a date that was put. But HR 6666, 4 6s here. So that's a bonus, I guess. 100 billion for tracking Americans guilty of COVID. So this is an article that goes through the TRACE Act, door-to-door testing that's getting ready to be implemented, forced isolation, quarantine. We're going to see all that. Don't answer your door. I'm not answering my door. I will never answer my door until they come with a warrant. It is unconstitutional. It is. You have to have your Fourth Amendment. So what I'm saying here, I can't read this article out because we'll be here too long. I don't want this to last over an hour. So you need to read your amendments, everybody. You need to understand what your rights are as a human being. And from where I've gone through some court things here lately, like the judges and the attorneys, if you hire an attorney, let me tell you, they are for the establishment. They are not for you. You are better off. I hate to say this, but you're better off as self-represented because you have more rights being a self-representative individual than signing a contract with an attorney, because then that puts that under the law. So if an attorney comes to you and says to you, do you understand? Do you understand? You say, yes, Judge, I understand. Then you're understanding exactly the same things that they are under. I hope that makes sense. Don't ever, if you're self-represented, I'm telling you this till my grave. And I'm not an attorney or anything, but I have several degrees. I have 3 bachelor's degrees and 2 master's. I'll just tell you this. Don't ever, as a self-representative individual, tell a judge that you understand. You are not under the same rules and regulations and things that they're tied to. You're not. You're an American. You have different rights than they do. Don't do it. Sorry. I went on a tailspin there. But HR 666, a blatant unconstitutional violation of the Fourth Amendment. Like, you have to read your amendments. You have to know the law and what you are grounded in as an American. You really do. You need to go through this. I will post these links up here in a little while, so you all can go back as reference. So that's one of them. Let me share another one. So luciferase, the patent number for luciferase. Hold on, where is this? It really is 060606. I thought that was just, I really thought it is Mary Tom Law too. Yeah. I really thought this was BS. And I thought this is going over extreme. I really did, everybody. I'm an honest person. Hold on, that's not it. That's not what I'll show. This one. I don't know if y'all saw the difference there. But luciferase 060606. And I'm like, you know how God does things, and he's like, oh, you sit and think about this, and then it's going to be something else. So I'm sitting here thinking, oh, everybody's going to think it's 666, and then it's luciferase, it's Lucifer. By golly, the freaking patent number it really is 060606. Now there's different numbers underneath this. The luciferase antibody, there's several antibodies actually, and then the firefly, you all, in Revelations 13:17, it says it will be by the name and the number that it represents. Like, now these are all just different categories and stuff. Everybody, I highly encourage everybody to look this up yourself. But it starts with luciferase. This is the patent. The human IgG antibody laboratories manufactures luciferase 060606 regenets distributed by Genprice. The luciferase 060606 regenet is research use only. That's funny. I can go another spiritual whirlwind on that. To test human serum and cell culture lab samples. We're all under a test if you take this COVID, these vaccines. You really are. To purchase these products for the MSDS, data sheet, protocol storage, conditions, temperature, which we're seeing too. I don't know how true this is, but we're seeing all these different in Walmart facilities, all of these different or additional air conditioning or freezers that are put up in these facilities to possibly house the vaccination and the luciferase. Like, dude, I know I've gone through Bible college. I've been a Christian since I was 15 years old. I'm 40 years old. I have heard we're living in the last days. I've heard we live for many years. Even my grandmother, before she passed away, we're in the last days. And that could very, very well be from her point of view. I'm telling you right now, with everything I have, with no conviction in my heart, like I am for sure 100% back checked everything. We are in the 7-year tribulation period. We're halfway through. And these are the last days. And this is coming about, like I've talked about CERN, right? And they talked about the prophecies and stuff, the prophets that talked about in the Ezekiel and Daniel and stuff. It says that CERN, like they saw wheels within wheels, and it looked like a barrel stone. And that's what CERN is. And it has the God of, what's that God's name? It's the destruction and creator that sat outside, and it looks like wheels within wheels. And they said it looked like a barrel stone because that's the only thing that they had to compare it to back then. The barrel stone is tan, orange, blue, and teals. And that's exactly what CERN looks like within a wheel within a wheel, which is, I believe that CERN is the bottomless pit. We're creating we're destructing ourselves in a lot of ways when it comes to Bible. So this is so deep and so far, and I've done so much research, and I'm telling you, everybody, I never knew any of this. Never knew any of this. And my 2020 year was my great awakening. And yes, I went to Bible college when I was 19 to 24 years old. I have a personal relationship with Jesus. He knows all my faults. He knows it all, believe me, even more than my parents know. And it took COVID-19. I'm going to get emotional a little bit. For me to look at the Bible from a different point of view. It's a spiritual warfare, and that's why I do paranormal investigations, and I help families mostly. I do some of these larger events or larger locations, but I've always been in a deliverance ministry, and I have never read the Bible like I'm reading it now, and it's all coming to pass. I promise I would never lead any of my friends wrong. So much so that I'm going to show you this scripture here. If I can find it. Hold on here. Why is that not showing up? That should be showing up. Oh, here it is. It's showing up. Revelations 9:15. And the four angels who had been kept ready for this very hour and day and month and year were released to kill a third of mankind. Whatever is bound in heaven is also bound in earth. That's scripture. And this is all together. Whatever is loosed in heaven is loosed on earth. So whatever demonic entities or anything that's ran rampant, which we also know Lucifer has dominion over this earth, but God ultimately releases these things. Look, if you don't understand this at this moment in time, message me. We'll talk more in detail. This is very deep when it comes to Christian walk. But Job is a great example. And so God has allowed this wormwood, is what I want to call it. Everybody thinks it's an asteroid, but it's not. It comes in four layers. And what's the and four angels? Okay, a counterfeit of God, angels. What are the four companies that are releasing these vaccinations for you to get? And they're going to wipe out a third of mankind. It's really the last call. And then that goes into, and I'm going to leave it at that. And I'm going to close out with my brother's song again here in a moment. Tell me why you're here, because that will lead into my discussion, and I might need to do it again. I don't know if it's on YouTube. I need to check if it's on YouTube. It was deleted off Facebook and stuff. That leads into the President Trump and Biden. Okay, that leads into the Antichrist, the Pope. I do believe the Pope is the Antichrist. Yes, I do. I was one to always run from things when so many people, but I've researched it now too much. Yes. And we have the false prophet, which comes from the lineage of David, and Israel put out Jezu, I can't say his first name, Ben David, which is son of David. And it had to happen over this Passover. If we were in the tribulation period, it had to happen this year. I watched for that and I didn't see it. And then it came out like 5 days after the Passover that he was introduced. It's all coming together. It's crazy. It's crazy. I'm telling you. But I'm also telling you tonight too that please research these vaccines over my dead body while I take it. over my dead body. I will not ever take that vaccine. I do believe with 110% of my everything I have, it is a mark of the beast. And my parents did take it. I hate to say it, my mother and father. At that time, I wasn't in speaking terms with my mother, and that's a whole other topic. But my brother and my sister-in-law and their children are not going to take it. I'm not taking it. My son's not going to take it. It is the mark of the beast. If there's a time, sorry, I'm going to get emotional. I would never steer my friends wrong. If I'm wrong 2 years down the line, I don't even know if we're going to be here. But if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, and I will own up to it. But I'm telling you right now, with everything I have, research Lucifer face, research the patent. Revelations says, 13:17 says that the beast, the mark of the beast, will have its name, or it does say, or the number it represents. So when I went into this and I started researching it, everybody wants to go to 666. So I started going the opposite way in the name. And then I found Luciferase. And then I found out, well, Luciferase patent number is 060606. It's the truth. And if you already taken the jab and you didn't know, it's okay. It really is okay. God is a healer and a restorer. He will mend back those things. Hosea 2:3 says so, and I'm going to warn these people that are Christians that I know that are still debating. It says that my people perish from the lack of knowledge. So I'm telling my brothers and sisters in Christ right now, this is knowledge that I've put out there. I believe it with all my heart. You can take it and go with it as you want to and do what you want to. But as for me and my house, we serve the Lord, and that vaccine will not be here. It won't. And that's what we need to have as America, the right to be able to choose healthcare, what we want. I'm a vaccine person. Don't take me wrong. My son and myself has every vaccine coming and going that has been approved, FDA, all this stuff. This is the vaccine I don't want, and I will never accept in my home. And I have an ex-husband that is not a co-parent. He's a counter-parent. I can't tell you how many times I've called my son's pediatrician's office. I'm getting ready to contact my son's school, and I'm going to go to the first, it's on the 25th of this month, August. I think it's the 25th. Hold on, let me pull that up. I think it's August 25th. No, it's the 26th. August the 26th. I'm sorry. I'm going to go to the school board, and I'm going to find out about this stuff. I'm going to fight for the kids in the Ashland district. I know the truth. Novax. Laura Pill's with me too. Thank you. So I'm going to share my brother's song here. Tell me why you're here. Oh, it's crazy times, but we're all here together, right? So I love you all. Thank you for watching. I know this went over an hour. I did not want this to go over an hour. Share this out while you can. I don't know if this will be here tomorrow. So it's what I've researched. This is critical. This is the truth from a biblical point of view. I want to try to respect everybody in the way they believe, but I'm just telling you, Jesus is real. He changed my life. I can tell you my testimony another time, but he's real. This is happening, and it's happening now. And I love you all. Thank you so much. I'll see you tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time right here on YouTube. I'm still banned on Facebook with Mike Ricksecker. That has the Shadow Dimension video series that's on Amazon and some other streaming platforms. Thank you all. Have a great night. Love you.
Tell me why you here, what you came for. I'm here to represent him in his glory, make his name known. This is not a game though. It ain't never been a game show. Life is only starting when the grave close. Tell me why you here, what you came for. I'm here to represent him in his glory, make his name known. This is not a game though. It ain't never been a game show. Life is only starting when the grave close. Tell me why you here.
Back slapping the track of the black accurate rap track of these wax statues or whack Draculas live life like Lazarus. Cats ask for the address. Son of Messiah from Nazareth, Hall of Fame, no asterisk. Yeah, I'm a pastor with the master is after his kids. The passion is passionate, no pacifist, just activists here. Bless him fully, he ruling truly. He guides with bruises given. He bodies from Satan's rages and bondage to cages. There were prophets, amazing grace from the Father. The ancient of days is raising the faithful who choosing to follow. I once was hollow, but I'm filled with the spirit of God, willing to walk in the war, wielding the spirit
Tell
is
me why
wrong.
you here, what you came for. I'm here to represent him in his glory, make his name known. This is not a game though. It ain't never been a game show. Life is only starting when the grave close. Tell me why you here, what you came for. I'm here to represent him in his glory, make his name known. This is not a game though. It ain't never been a game show. Life is only starting when the grave close. Tell me why you here.
Gotta get that money, it's funny how we don't come up. Gotta get that running and hustle before the sun up. Gotta find a reason for breathing. I'm seeking something to freedom. I really need it, but geez, I'm seeking none of it. He be seeking the sun and even the weekend among his greediest heathens. Become some deacons to speak of his coming. So which one in the game is the name you're calling? A dollar ain't the father, so tell me which one you follow. See, I've been in love with the game for one score, but I've come to the Father and I'm loving it much more. Focus my visioning, exquisite delivery, lifting up the risen Prince of Peace with no deficiencies. I was once an enemy, wickedness was my energy. Simply I was empty, a sinner, slave to the industry. Thank you for the ministry, always being a friend of me. Now I'm rolling victory, Holy Spirit done
Tell me why
enemy.
you here, what you came for. I'm here to represent him in his glory, make his name known. This is not a game though. It ain't never been a game show. Life is only starting when the grave close. Tell me why you here, what you came for. I'm here to represent him in his glory, make his name known. This is not a game though. It ain't never been a game show. Life is only starting when the grave close. Tell me why you
We
here.
in the end zone, 10-4, never move. Whom I depend on's not known to ever lose. The king is on the throne, no time for interviews. Stepping in my zone, it's on, yeah, we been approved. Matter of fact, he gon' run the game now. The king came down to save the lane crowd. I'm sure he did it, don't ring the chains out. The whole earth bowed when he laid his praise out. Bringing the power, devour cowards of false yeah. Keep it classic like Chad passing the bosses. And if the cross is depicting God's gift, giving his life then, my glory all his. And if the rose stone showed us that Christ rose, then I got something to trust in and live my life for. Ain't gonna play games no more. My chains been broke, his name so dope.